Have you ever looked in front of you and looked at your goals and said, man, that is impossible? It happens to us every day. But do you realize that every great invention that is out there was impossible before it was created? That's what we're talking about today. We are talking about how we go from impossible to possible. We are going to break down how you tap in to that passion and that fire in your belly and how you can turn that into living the life of your dreams. So stay tuned because nothing is impossible and your dreams are possible. Stay tuned because this is Women Winning Their Way. Well, I am so excited, Gwendolen, to have you here with us. So today we have Gwendolen Wilder, and we are going to be talking about resilience. We're going to be talking about how we go from the impossible to the possible. So, Gwendolen, welcome to the show.
Woo, girl, I have been waiting for this. I am so excited and thank you for letting me just spend a little bit of time with your awesome audience. And I can't wait to dive in. So let's get into it.
I love it. I love it. So, the whole point of the show is to really share messages so that women everywhere, not just today's women, but future generations, know that it is possible to define success and create success on their terms. So, when
Right.
I say something like creating success on your terms, what does that mean to you? And was there ever a time in your life where you had to sort of break free from tradition standards and forge forward on your own?
Oh my gosh, Clara. Yes, girl, like every day. It's like a nonstop thing, right? It's not a place where you get to and you say, okay, this is success and this is what, it looks like for me. I believe that success looks different based upon where you are on the journey in your life, not just in business, but in your personal life as well, right? And
Right.
so I've had to go through those different points in life and say, okay, what is it that I really want to do? And why do I want to do that? That's the question that always gets me to what does success mean and what does success look like? And so being a Christian female entrepreneur, it always gets me back to what is the purpose that God has for me right now in this point in my life, whether it's being a mother, if it's being right now I'm single. So, what does that mean? And then, obviously being a business coach, what does that look like, that purpose that God wants for me? And that's what success, my definition of success, looks like.
Exactly. So, it is great to talk about these because I talk about that all the time. Part of
Mhm,
the whole clarity success method is the C, creating a clear vision. And
mhm.
I think, those questions are so powerful. Then we get into the, okay, how are we going to do that? Because sometimes we have this vision. Others think we're crazy. Others say, well, that's never been done before. What makes you think you can do it? I've
Yeah.
had people where I've shared my dreams and they're like, why would you want to take a risk? You've got a great job with a great salary,
Mhm.
with great benefits. And a lot of times there's so much negativity. So, how do we take that vision and actually go for it? And do it our way, even when we have so many people working against us and so many thoughts working against us.
I call those people naysayers, right? Like those are the haters. And so I always say that it's really important for you to have, business principles, right? And so the thing about it is this, even if I started this process a long time ago before I even became a businesswoman. I didn't even know that that's really what I was doing. But really, the three business principles that I teach ladies inside of my Impossible to Possible Women's Sisterhood is number one, having a strong spiritual foundation. Because at 2:30 in the morning, when you can't reach out to your coach, like who are you going to go to seek clarity, wisdom, ask for strength and ask for confidence and lean on and just have a voice, right? Of someone or something that you believe in that's bigger than you that will help you with affirmations and just clarity as far as the vision, right? Like, is this the vision that I need to fulfill right now at this point in my life? Because maybe I need to fulfill it 5 years from now, right? It doesn't mean it's not a bad vision. It just means you just don't do it right now.
Mhm.
And then number two is having a solid, proven business strategy. That is essential. It is really essential. I don't care. if you're not a businesswoman, right, and you're listening to this awesome podcast and you're saying, well, I'm just trying to be confident just as a person, right, or just as a mom, you still need to have a strategy of how you're going to do that.
Mhm.
And so the principle is still the same. You need to have, and this is where I love teaching women my signature Wilder success strategy of how I make that happen. Doesn't matter if it's me being a mom or being just a really great friend or being a business owner. And then principle number three is having a supportive sisterhood. Girl, I cannot tell you how valuable it is when you literally what you were just saying, when you have the haters and the naysayers and they're saying to themselves, this is crazy. I can't see how you're going to do the thing. I had that when I started my business back in 2008. When I had the vision, I said, okay, I have this $100. What am I going to do? Am I going to put food on the table, gas in the car, or am I going to invest this into myself for this dream that I have of becoming a businesswoman? And nobody believed in me. It was just me and God, right? And I went for it. And so I always wish that I would have had someone that believed in me, that supported me, that cheered me on, and all the things. It wasn't until the success came later after I received that multi-million dollar contract, then everybody was like, "Oh, I can't believe you did it." And so this is why I think it's really important, Clara, that you have a biz bestie, which is someone that knows strategically how to help you to overcome your challenges, which is what I lovingly refer to as your business fears. But how do you come over those challenges and those obstacles? And it's great, right, to have that person who can show you step by step the things that you need to do. And that biz bestie could come in the form of just a really awesome girlfriend that is also another female entrepreneur, a mentor, a coach. But you still need to have what I call the rah rah chicks, right? Like these are your friends, your girlfriends that do support you and do want to see you win. They just don't know anything about business. So don't put them to the side just because they don't know anything about business. You still need that supportive community of people. And then for me, I also love having a spiritual coach as well to keep me grounded so I don't get full of pride and, just kind of go off the deep end and forget why I got started doing the thing that I was supposed to do in the first place. So those are the three main things for me.
Love that. So let's hear, your impossible to possible story, because I know that there probably have been many, but where did you really learn this resilience? Where, what was one moment where you just felt, all the doors were closed and you just decided to go and kick that door down and say, it doesn't matter, I'm going to do it. So I
Yeah.
know, you have your structure, you have your faith, you have your support, but what was that moment for you?
Okay, this is going to sound really crazy. Most people know you're going to be one of the few people, right? So your audience is getting like a really juicy bit right now. Usually, people hear the story of how I, started my business when I was in the Air Force, and again, it's kind of that concept of you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being in debt, or not being able to do the things with your family that you want to do, right? So I'm just like everybody else in that situation. When I first got started, it was my son's birthday, and I asked him what did he want for his birthday, and he said, "I want to go to Disney World." Clara, girl, there's no way. There was no way I was going to be able to make that happen, because even though I had a full-time job, just like a lot of, women that are going to be listening to this podcast, I did not have enough money to fulfill that one simple wish that he wanted. And so I had to make a choice. Was I going to get a job, or what was I going to do, or tell him, no, I'm not going to be able to do it? So it was really my motherly instinct to, I'm going to make this happen. And so I went out and I got a side hustle. And I realized that I love that side hustle way more than I love my military job, right? Which is a lot, it's saying a lot, because I really loved what it was that I did in the military, which was a installation director for the Equal Opportunity Program. So doing things like investigation, counseling, training with discrimination, sexual harassment, things like that. But I didn't like getting shot at. I didn't like having to do deployments, being away from my son, and all of the other things that go along with that. So I started this side hustle, ended up making some really great money. Like within the, I made more money, Clara, that 1 month doing that side hustle than I did in my full-time job. And so that was an eye opener because up until that point, I really didn't understand the concept of female entrepreneur and what was possible, right? And so
Mhm.
I thought if I could do this in a short bit of time, like what else is there for me?
Wow.
And it made me think about retirement and what was I going to do? Because up until that point, I just figured I was going to work for the military until I died, right? Like just do that, right? It was job security, dental, medical, all the
Oh,
things, right?
yeah.
Like why
Mhm.
give that up? And so I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So I literally took that last $100 and I invested into some training to get a certification. And I said, okay, I'm going to go full forward. And girl, I'm so glad I did that
Wow.
because
Yeah.
it literally was an eye opener and it changed the trajectory of the legacy for my family, and it changed the path for my life. Not always a great path that I entered into, and we'll talk more about that. But it literally changed the, like I said, the trajectory of the legacy that I wanted to leave for my family. So I was able to take that $100 and turn it into a $5 million joint venture contract, which allowed me to retire early from the military and show my son, the fullness of what being an entrepreneur, going after your dreams is really about. But that's the story that a lot of people hear, but really where my resilience came from, my determination, it really came from me, the environment that I was raised in.
Mhm.
I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, and we were poor, like poor, poor. Using food stamps. We had an outhouse, and it was a struggle. Every day was a struggle. But my grandparents, who raised me, because my mother passed away when I was 3 months old, and my father was, off in Vietnam, and so it was hard. It was truly, truly hard, and that's where I believe the foundation of my resilience and determination, that's where it came from, and that's what I've been leaning into all these years to do what I do.
Oh, that's thank you for sharing that. That's yeah, a
Mhm,
lot in there. And so many times, we have to take that leap, and know that the net's gonna appear. And I love how you took a gamble on yourself with that $100, and really, and you also brought up again the legacy and the
mhm,
message that you are now giving to your son of,
mhm,
never hold back. I want to back up to something that you mentioned about when you were in the military, because
mhm,
being deployed. Now, this is something that is near and dear to me because I am on the road a lot. Now, my son is now 19. However, there were many times where he was under the age of 10. And being on the road, there were a lot of naysayers who
oh,
questioned
yeah.
me
Mhm,
choosing to be on the road, not at home.
mhm.
Now,
Yeah,
you didn't have the choice to be away, that choice was made for you.
yeah.
How did you, because I think that there are so many women who have opportunities and they feel it's going to take them away from
Mhm,
being a good mom, whether it's going to be a weekend business trip or just even hours, longer hours at, their dream job.
mhm.
How did you reconcile and how did you learn to show up and still be a mom even when you were deployed? Because I think that's
Yeah.
another standard that we need to
Mhm.
debunk because I don't think you being away makes you less of a good parent.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I am here to say that I feel like it made me even better mom. I really do because it made me more attentive and appreciate the moments of, the time that we had together when we talked on the phone. So when my son was 6 months old, the military sent me to Saudi Arabia. And I was there for 6 months. So I missed his entire everything, his first words, walking, all of it. As a matter of fact, when I came back from my deployment, because it was extended, he was calling my mother-in-law mom. Crushed my soul, girl, crushed my soul, right?
Mhm.
And so, but what really I leaned into was, making every single moment precious. So I would call the daycare in the States, right, while I'm away. And really, he's not saying anything, like goo goo gaga type stuff, right?
Mhm.
But it was just hearing his breath over
Mhm.
the phone. So just making sure that I was present, even though he didn't even know really that I was present, I knew that I was
Right.
present and I was doing the things that I needed to do. So understanding how to And I've later turned it into like an actual strategy for women. I call it balancing your peace and purpose. It's a part of my organization method that I teach women, but literally making time for yourself, making time for your family, and making time for your business is essential, because I feel like we get too wrapped up in the guilt and the shame of going after our dream and turning it into, a profitable business. And we have to stop doing that. And we have to remember the reason that we are doing the thing that we're doing is because it is going to, help financially for our family, to create a better lifestyle for our family. It's going to create more opportunities inside of our community, because hopefully you're donating back into your community and bringing up the next person behind you, in your community. So you have to remember always that purpose, right? Like, what is this about? And
Yeah.
that's what's going to, keep pushing you through.
Yeah, and I just think again, you really that message of, you make the moments count
Hmm.
because that's what they're going to really remember. They're going to remember those moments, and we have to make those moments special. So I appreciate you sharing that because I think we need to allow ourselves the permission to go after
Hmm.
our dreams and not have that guilt over us. We still have to be present. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean we have to be present 100% of the time. It's just being there 100% when you're
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And then, I'm always telling women also, when you feel yourself feeling the guilt and you're feeling the shame, lean into it, right?
Mhm.
Do not back away from it. Acknowledge the fact that I'm feeling guilty right now. And I'm feeling guilty. So I'll give you another great example. So when I started my first business, I remember days when I did not sleep. There was a time frame where there was like 2 days where nonstop, I would go to work. I start work at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I get off somewhere about like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And then I would spend time, with my family. And then, of course, working on my business. When my son went to sleep, I go back to work on my business, right? So there was no like downtime, because I remember what it was that I was doing, but I was feeling really guilty because I felt like I was rushing him through eating your meal and going to the skate park and,
Mhm.
all the things. And I wasn't present in it. And so I had to, pick myself up and remember, like, no, 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 no. Right? You're going to miss these things. You already missed so many things because you were away. So enjoy these moments. So that's where I said, okay, I can't keep burning the candle at both ends. Something's got to
No,
give. And
something's
that's
gonna
what
give,
made me stay committed to the dream and keep pushing forward.
right. And I think, you mentioned a comment that was very powerful, at least for me, and I hope people heard it. You're going to miss something. Even
Mhm.
if you don't work or what, you're going to miss
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Mhm.
And so again, I think, like you said, is, kind of resonate with that, lean into it and, take it in for what it is, because you'll be there for some things, you will miss some things. That's part of life. That's not the whole picture. It's just the
Yeah.
one. Do you know that less than 75% of people do not get enough sleep? I know for years that this was something I struggled with. I would fall into bed exhausted, only to then toss and turn all night long and wake up feeling unrested. Sleep is critical to our health, well being, and productivity. I am so excited to partner with Lisa Gibb and Som V, who have crafted the perfect night's sleep. We cannot walk around like sleep zombies the next day. Lisa and her team at Som V understand this. And with over 40 years of quality craftsmanship, Somvi sheet sets are designed to create a perfect environment to offer you a restful night's sleep. They use the highest quality fabrics and they have products that focus on temperature regulation. Ladies, you know what I mean about that. With their products that include mattress enhancers to sheet sets, lots of different kinds of unique pillows, comforters, blankets, and more. They literally have you covered and ready for a quality night's sleep. All the products with Somv will wrap you in luxury each and every night. The people at Somv are committed to one thing: a quality night's sleep. So connect with Lisa Gibb, your personal sleep consultant, and build your personal and luxury sleep package today. Connect with Lisa at www.lisagibb.com LISAGIBB.SOMNVIE.com. Invest in your rest with SOMV today. Yeah.
Yeah, and I often say, I have a phrase I tell women, turn your business fear into a positive, profitable business opportunity. So anything negative, anything bad that happens to you, if you missed your kids' soccer practice or you missed their first words or something like that because you were out doing a guest speak or you're out on the road on a book tour or something like this, turn that into a positive because you're not the only person on the planet going through that same thing. So talk to the person about what it was, the lesson that you learned, maybe something that you could have done differently, and then how you're going to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And so doing that, it gives me I don't know if the right word would be resolve, but that's what it feels like, right? Like it
Well,
gives
because
me
now you can almost justify it. There was a point to it. It was not it
yeah.
was worth it. There was something positive that came out of it, and I
Yeah,
think
you're not just
that's
sitting
a
there
really great
talking
way.
about it.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
definitely. So I want to back up to some strategy things here because being that, you grew up on a farm, being that you were in the military, I can already sense that like me, you are extremely regimented. And that worked really well. But
Yeah.
let's get real, not
Mhm.
everybody is. And there's a lot of people that
Mhm.
are going to be following the show who are also entrepreneurs and they like to be a little bit more free form. And they fight that schedule. So if you were talking with somebody, and somebody is listening to this and they want to get to that next level, but they don't want to be so regimented, what would be some areas for you to encourage them to maybe start with? What are some baby steps to sort of getting into this and getting it all going?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I had a strategy call. I think it was about 2 days, 3 days ago, and this lady was so excited about becoming a female entrepreneur. And I always caution women to don't get me wrong. I want you to be excited about it and all the things, right? But I am that coach that reminds you it's not all cotton candy, sunshine, and rainbows. And so the very first thing is to get clarity about why you want this vision to come to fruition. Seriously, like, is it just because you have a mortgage bill that's due? Or do you have a greater vision of how to, what I call helping someone to live their best blessed life? So you want to change someone's life. Like I know my purpose on this planet is to spread the gospel, right? Is to let people know, like, hey, here's the Lord, right? But I can't go around and just be like, hey, here's the Lord down your throat. So how I do this is I am just, sharing my gift that he gives me by helping other people to fulfill their purpose. And just like today, when you're asking me, "Hey, how did you get started? Why are you doing it?" It's because I feel like this is where God has called me to
Mhm.
be in this moment, to write the books about domestic violence, or to, create the coaching program helping women to start. So get really clear about the vision of why you want to do this, because if you are saying that it's just because you have this bill that you want to take care of or something that is very short term, you're not ready to be a female entrepreneur, because it is not for the weak. It has to be 1,000% commitment. That dedication, that resilience, it has to be embedded in you
Mhm.
if you want to be successful. So
Yeah.
that's the starting point.
So, what do you think outside of not having the clear vision? What do you think are also some stumbling blocks for women out there that keep them from success?
Well, that was pretty easy for me as a business coach, right? Looking from the 50-foot view of everything. It's the strategy, the branding, marketing, sales, and the media strategies that are in spiritual strategies as well, like I was saying before. But making sure you have all of those aspects and you're clear about when to engage those aspects in your business. That's the thing. I see a lot of women that just start their business thinking that it can be just like the side hustle that they have. A side hustle is different than being a full-fledged business owner. And so you have to make sure you have a business plan that reflects that. And your business plan has to entail branding, marketing, sales, media, and some type of spiritual plan and strategy as well to support that plan. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably going to get some people. You're probably going to make a few, $100,000 here or there. But if you want to have consistent leads and you want to make sales that are, continuously growing your business and sustaining your business, you have got to have a solid, proven business strategy. And this is why I love teaching the women for my tribe anyway. What are the 6 steps that I do?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's so good. And, it's so true. Coming from the area of real estate, that's where my background is. I would ask people all the time, well, why do you want to get into real estate? Oh, I just love looking at
Mhm.
houses. Just a little
Mm-mm.
bit more involved than that. And then I hear
Right?
it all the time as a coach. Oh, I think I want to be a coach. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's a
It's a
business.
lot.
It's a business. And I'm always so shocked when I look at the statistics and find that less than 20% of business owners
Mhm.
have a written business plan. And of that 20%, less than 4 of them actually look at it on a regular basis.
Oh
And
my God.
it's scary. It's the
Yeah.
idea is you have to have your plan. And how
Yeah.
to work your plan, that's your strategy. And that's where I think the success on your way really comes into it. Without a plan, it's really hard to get to where you want to get.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was really important. So you have to remember, and I don't know if your listeners know this or not, but when I first started my business, I had no business coach. No, girl, I didn't even have a laptop. I would have to go to the base library every day just to use the library computer, right? I didn't have social media. So, and then when I finally did get Facebook, I was so scared of it, I just bombed and I stopped. I just stopped using it for business until I think it was like 2016. So from 2008 to 2016, it was just, just hey mom, dad, kind of things, right? But the thing that I wanted to say is that I didn't have a plan when I first started. All I had was a vision. And
Mhm.
so I went back and I reverse engineered, years later, like, how did I achieve all the success that I had? And please, people understand me. The level of success that I achieved within the first 6 months of starting my business is not normal. That is abnormal. Okay. I always tell people that is a God thing. Like, He really wanted me to go through that because I often tell people that they only see like the positive, like all the success part of it, but
See
they
the
didn't see
highlight
the
reel.
struggle, right? Like how I dealt with domestic violence and sexual assault while I was building my business, and my grandfather passing away. It was a lot, and so having a business plan would have been really helpful to help me navigate all those different things. And
Mhm.
so once I realized the significance of why I needed to have a business plan and then creating it, game changer, literally game changer, because then I was able to call in more people,
Mhm.
great opportunities for speaking, whether it was, on television, which of course led to me becoming best-selling co-author and all these other different things. But that game plan, that business plan, you got to have one of those, because and then look at it every month. Every month you need to be assessing your business to see, one, do you still want to be in business? Two, do you want to pivot? Or three, how are
Yeah.
you gonna, continue to grow, continue to scale?
Absolutely. And then what I do with that too, and I'm sure you do as well, is every week when I set my week up, it's is this week set up to give me this monthly goal? Because the
Yes.
monthly goal is the quarterly
Yeah.
goal and then so forth. And it
Mhm.
just helps you because again, so many people they then get to the end of the year and they're like, oh, well, that didn't work. Well,
Yeah.
let's figure that out in April rather than waiting until November to do those things.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my private clients literally just yesterday about that specifically. She's brand new and she's getting ready to create all of her emails and post on Facebook and all the things, and it's like really exciting, right? And then she's like, "Wait a minute, I have to have different emails for people." I'm going, yeah, you can't have just one email and that's it. And it's just going to everybody on your email list. And I said, you have to do, tracking, your metrics and, analyze your data to figure out what's working, why did it work, and, what time did you post it and all of this. And I think women forget. And, it could be as simple as you doing it. And I think it's great that you do it in the beginning and, as you're learning your business. But, when you end up hiring people later, that's great, but you still need to know the insights, the ins and outs of your business, like all the insights of things, if you want to be successful. So
Ah, I love it. Well,
sorry.
Gwen, I could actually talk to you all day long because not only are you inspiring, you are so much just like me as far as how you think and how you show up. And so I feel like I have a friend on the other side of the line here. And I just love everything you're saying because it really resonates with me. I also know that it's going to resonate with so many of the people that are following. But I would love to ask you, you have so much going on. Again, you've authored books, you have your programs, you're a speaker,
Mhm.
you're doing retreats. So what's next for Gwendolyn?
Oh my goodness. I was on a different podcast and they said, "Are you doing another book? Are you going to do another book?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe." Right. For right now, I just love showing up, helping women with private coaching inside of my Impossible to Possible Women's Sisterhood. That gives me so much joy. I have my Facebook group and I'd love for women to come in and check it out. It's called Women with Dreams Turn Your Biz into a Profitable Biz That You Love. And I love showing up in there because, Clara, I never want anyone to say money is the reason they can't afford coaching or getting help. And so if you tell me I would really love, for you to coach me, but I just don't have the money to do it, girl, come on into the Facebook group so I can love on you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that because so many times there are people and I find them and I'm like, hey, I would love to learn a little bit more about this. And all of them are like, oh, well, you can pay me this. It's like, can't we just help each other? And that's what I did with my membership.
Yeah,
It's $7 a month, which is again nothing. And it's giving so much. And everyone's like, oh, you could be charging more. I'm like, that's not the point.
that's
There
not
are
the
people
point.
out there. That's
Yeah.
not going to make me my millions. I'm like,
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
speaking and stuff, that's my job.
Yeah.
This I want to help people because there are
Yeah.
people out there who just need
That's
support.
it. That's
So
it.
thank you. I honor
Mhm.
you. And again, all of your notes, all of your links to everything are going to be in the show notes. So for those of you that are following, go and become a member. I know I am. And let's get in there and let's build our community and let's help each other. So, Gwendolyn, again, thank you so much. I have one final question for you before we close things out. Sitting where you're sitting today, learning everything that you have learned, how do you define success for yourself now?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Before I say that, I just want to say thank you again. It was so much fun. I hate to leave. But again, for me, the definition of success is just making sure I'm staying on purpose that God has given me. Whatever that looks like for whatever the season is. First I started out in corporate, then I became an advocate for domestic violence. And now I'm a female entrepreneur business coach. So, whatever God has me on purpose, that's what my definition of success is, as long as I'm doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I have one more final question for you.
Oh, girl, bring it on.
How was Disney World? I'm hoping that you took your son to
Oh
Disney
my
World.
gosh, it was so good. Literally, okay, so my son is about to turn 27 next month, and we still laugh about this and we, look at pictures and all the things. And it was one of the best vacations, even though we've had tons since then, but 2 week vacation at the resorts, and they are not inexpensive. And all the bells and whistles, the game, all the things like that. And it was just so much fun. And I just thank God for that opportunity because it just reminds women anything. You literally can make the thing possible. You just have to believe in it and then turn it into a positive, profitable business opportunity.
Exactly. Gwendolyn, thank you so much for sharing today. It was just lovely to have you. And I just appreciate everything you're doing for not only yourself, but for the world. So keep doing great things.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Okay, let's unpack this. As I'm talking with Gwendolyn, the image that's coming to mind is an octopus. And not because she looks like an octopus, but an octopus. They're in the pool and then they see this little tiny opening and they just find a way to squeeze through and get to their goal. That's what she's saying. There is always a way. Again, it may seem impossible from where you're sitting today, everything is possible. So some of the things that she talked about is again really knowing your vision. And she talked about the two questions. You know, when am I going to do this? And why am I doing this? You've got to be able to look at those things and let that why drive you. Let that guide you because that's your purpose. And when you are showing up with your true purpose, that passion, that energy, that focus, that discipline, everything is going to follow from it. I love when she talked about, just tell the haters to go to the side. She talked about, having the three things: the vision, the strategy, and then also your support system. Cannot stress those enough. Just mentioned about the vision. Again, that strategy. If you are going to be running a business, even if you are not, What is your strategy? As simple as making meals. I know my mom, one of the things that she did on Sunday, because there was 6 of us in the family, Sunday, she put her strategy for meal prep together for the week. That was her strategy that brought her some sanity. So, again, always get your strategy. You've got to fall in love with the goal, got to have that vision for the goal. Then you got to get up and you got to work that strategy. And again, surround yourself with that support. There are going to be days where it's hard. I guarantee you, you're not alone. So open up the door, open up your heart, ask for help when you need it, and don't forget to give that help back to somebody else when you see that they may need it. She talked about showing up. You're going to miss things. You're going to miss things with your clients. You're going to miss things at work. You're going to miss things with your family. Nothing is a missed opportunity when we can learn from it. So give yourself grace. Know that when you are there in the moment, be there and be present in those moments and cherish those moments. But also, again, let go of the guilt. And as long as you are learning something from it, something that could be better, if you can turn that into a positive, you can see the other side. And again, that's going to be part of your strength and part of your journey. And then again, just talking about the plan and getting your plan together and reviewing it. So, success, you can have it. You can have whatever it is that you are looking for, and you can do it on your terms. When you get your clarity of vision, when you connect that to your heart space, when you have the faith and the support around you, you are going to be unstoppable. So, this has been another edition of Women Winning Their Way. I'm your host, Clara Capano. We are here to share powerful messages so that you know that no matter where you are, you can go after your goals, and you can do it with fire in your belly. You can do it with love in your heart, and you can do it with the mindfulness that you need. So, make sure that you are liking, following, and sharing these shows. And we'll see you next time for another episode of Women Winning Their Way.